What up, comic fans, comic collectors, and comic professionals? I'm EQ, and this is True Believer Comics. Let's go! I want to thank everybody for all the love they've been showing me on the last two videos on my whole YouTube journey. I'm here. This comic community means everything to me. I love y'all. I hope y'all love me, and I hope we can grow together. So what I need y'all to do is hit the like, comment, subscribe, you know that whole jazz. Hit that little bell notification, show a brother some love. We're here for the community, and I hope you be here for me. If you watched the intro video, I told y'all something was coming.
Here comes something.
I'm excited to announce that today's the day. Comic Book Evolutions Episode 1. This is where I take you on the personal journey from being a fan to becoming a collector to becoming a comic book professional. I'm gonna take you on a first-hand experience of the good, the bad, and the ugly of making this comic journey into a livelihood. This is an inside look that's never been tapped into before. So I hope you guys stay tuned in for the entire journey. I'm super excited to show you guys this. Let's start with being a fan. So as far back as I can remember, I'm an 80s baby.
80s style.
That might be hinting to my age to a few of you guys. I might be an OG. I might be Unk. If you know anything about the late 80s and early 90s, this is where Saturday morning cartoons were born. Literally, from wake up, 6 a.m., all the way until about noon, there was nothing but cartoons on WB, on Fox, even on some public television stations. Cartoon mania. This is the era that I was born in. We used to wake up early, do our chores, watch cartoons from 6 a.m. to noon. Then we would go outside and play all day, evening until night. You know that old metaphor until the street lights came on. I'm from that era. I can remember one moment in time that changed everything for me. It was when Batman the Animated Series came out, Spider-Man the Animated Series came out, Superman the Animated Series came out, and it was X-Men the original animated series. Imagine from 8 a.m. to about 11, all these epic cartoons came on, and everyone that you know was sitting in front of the TV.
Let's watch TV.
Just engulfed in these stories, these characters. This is before streaming, so there were no reruns. It was literally if you missed an episode on the weekend and you came to school on Monday and everyone was talking about the newest X-Men episode and you didn't see it, most likely, little did we know, would never see it again. So that's how important it was. So as time progressed, I started going to comic book shops. If you peep the first video, the intro video, you know my history on that. It wasn't always the popular thing to be into comic books, cartoons, video games. To a certain extent, you were always considered an outcast.
I am an outcast.
Didn't make sense to me at the time as well. Then, I remember to this day, Blade came out.
Blade.
Wesley Snipes, Marvel movie. My grandmother took me to see it. She was literally like, "Are you sure you want to see this? It's rated R." She was covering my eyes during certain parts. She didn't know if it was too mature for me. That changed my life. After the success of Blade, everything changed. That was the birth of the Marvel movie industry. Then we started to have Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2. You kind of know where the MCU has gone since then. So for the first time in my life, the general populace is now hip to the things that have brought me joy for years. And I couldn't have been more excited. We're here, baby. We living in it. It's the dream.
Living the dream, yeah.
So like I said in my first video, I was collecting since I was a kid. But really when I started collecting with the right mindset was about 15 years later, already in California. I'm from Philly. If you don't know, check out the first video. And I remember going to a few comic book shops in Burbank, Glendale, Van Nuys. For the first time, I was seeing these characters as not just the characters that I grew up with cartoons, but I was seeing these things as artwork. They were more like saving and preserving art and stories for future generations. So I dove deep in and I started buying books left and right, and high price, low price, high grade, low grade, key issues, back issues. I just went crazy for a little bit, I'm not gonna lie.
Crazy.
It wasn't until a few years later, with research and getting cool with a lot of people in the comic book community in these shops, that I started to realize I needed to hone in on the comics that were important to me, the characters that were important to me, which is our number one lesson in comic collecting. Collect what you love. You can buy any book in the world. You can collect a whole run of a certain series, a certain character, but do you truly love that series? Lesson number 2 is, if you're interested in something, if you heard what a series is going to be about, is get the first 10 issues, read those, and see if it has grabbed you in a way to where you want to continue the run. Another little tip is, technically in collecting, this is debatable, the first 10 issues and the last 10 issues are the most valuable of the series. In between those, if there are key issues, definition of key issues is when a major character is introduced or a major event that changes the trajectory of the story or the universe happens. Sometimes an introduction to a character might not be important to you, but it might be important to somebody else. So that book is in a perfect position to be traded. All right, so we talked about being a fan, we talked about being a collector and why. Now let me take you on a personal tour of my collection. Come on, let's go. I don't claim to be the biggest collector, have the most valuable books, but guess what? Everything that you saw is what I love. Remember, collect what you love. Now, let's really get into it. The next stage of the comic book collector evolution is becoming a comic book professional. I didn't believe it was possible. I thought I was stuck. I never even actually had no intention of becoming a comic book professional. I just love this game so much.
So much.
Then going on YouTube and learning about comic book cleaning and pressing, comic book dealing, what it's like to run a booth, what it's like to run a shop, my mind was blown. Then as I start going to these comic book conventions, comic book booths in Frank and Sons, and comic book shops, I started to make friends in the comic book industry, which then led to me building relationships in the comic book industry, them relaying to me the potential for how much money you can make in this comic book industry. Don't be fooled by the hype. People talking about the comic book industry is going down, it goes up. These stories are timeless, and people will always be willing to pay for the book that they love by the artist that drew it and these characters that they've grown up with their whole life.
My whole life.
So the beginning of my professional journey, I went to Frank and Sons. I was just buying books at different booths, making friends, and I ran across Jeff Dixon at Bam Splat Pow Comics. This relationship, this moment changed my comic professional journey forever. Now I'm proud to say that Jeff is my mentor. As we were building our relationship, he mentioned to me that he was going to have a booth at Comic-Con Revolutions. So naturally, me being an entrepreneur, me being a hustler, I offered my services for free to help him out at his booth. Little did I know, that was the beginning of the whole journey. From there, as our relationships evolved even more, Comic Book Collector Evolutions, a position opened up at his booth at Frank and Sons at Bam Splat Pow Comics, booth number 133. I wasn't expecting it. Was I nervous? Yes. Do I feel like I was equipped to replace the person who knew more about comics in this industry than I did? No. But guess what? I faced that fear head on, and now I am running the booth at Bam Splat Pow Comics on Wednesday evenings, Saturday all day, Sunday all day. And from the filming of this video, I have already worked 4 days, 1 day by myself. This weekend will be my first weekend by myself. And every day is just providing joy to people by providing the books that they've always wanted in their life, even if it's something that they didn't know they wanted. Prime example, I had an older gentleman come in just this past Wednesday, big Zorro fan.
What would Zorro do?
We had a whole Zorro wall of comic books. He then played the room. He walked around the whole Frank and Sons because it's a big warehouse convention style type setup. Came back about 2-3 times, saw that book. I talked to him a few times about his love of Zorro, the history of Zorro. Next thing you know, he wants the book. Now that I'm beginning my comic professional journey, what I really love is the joy that it brings by providing the books that people have been wanting all their lives. There's almost nothing better than someone coming in and saying, hey, do you have an ASM 130? Pulling that book out and me seeing the joy on their face as they hold it, and they're like, I always wanted this book. That's why we do this. And I feel like this comic community is all about love. Hey, real quick, before we wrap things up, please do me a favor. Hit that like, hit the comment, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell thing. That's a notification so you can be in tune to when we actually drop. But every Wednesday, new comic book day, we're going to drop a new video, different series, tons of content coming up. We got interviews coming up. Come and grow with me. So yeah, I'm here. Comic professional in the making. You can catch me at Frank and Sons, Bam Splat Pow, booth 133, Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Comic Book Collector Evolutions Episode 1. So stay tuned and let's see where the journey takes me. Love, peace, wisdom, strength. Let's go.